How's everybody doing today? My name's Jake. I just want to take a few minutes to talk about something that's important. I want to talk about being teachable. So, what are some good ways to become teachable? Well, you have to be willing to learn. You have to set your ego aside. I know for myself, I still get caught up in this, especially in the gym. If I'm doing a workout and somebody comes up to me and says, "Hey, try this," I can kind of become a little bit defensive. And I think it's just because I've been doing it for so long, but you know, I don't film myself while I work out. I can't really see myself while I'm working out. I try not to look in the mirror so then I can keep my form proper. And a lot of the time, there are things that people can see that you don't necessarily see. So you have to be able to be receptive. Another example was I've just started taking up boxing lessons, right? And I had gotten up at like 5 a.m. after going to bed at 1 a.m. due to a late night work, but I got up to watch the Canada USA gold medal game, and it was an early one for me. I don't normally get up at 5 a.m. I'm an 8 a.m. riser, but I wanted to get up and support my team. So got up. Canada lost. It was heartbreaking. So I say, I think I'm going to go to the gym. So I'm going to go to the gym. I don't feel like doing anything. I'm going to do some light boxing. Like I said, I just started learning how to box. So I'm there and I can tell I'm tired. I am barely throwing punches. I I'm not putting a lot into it, and yeah, my guard's probably down. I'm not in proper form, and this guy comes up to me. He's like, "Hey man, like I used to be a kung fu master, whatever. You gotta do this, this, and this." I was like, "Listen, man, like I'm just tired. I know my form's not the best right now. I'm really just trying to work up a sweat." And he said, "Yeah, no, like you're all good. I just thought I'd point some things out, and if that's okay." And I said, "Yeah, absolutely." But I could feel it in my ego. I was like, "Get away from me." You know what I mean? And I was driving home and I was like, now why wouldn't I just accept the feedback from somebody when they're really just trying to help you, right? In that moment, I was not teachable. I was giving excuses. At the end of the day, I've only been boxing for about 4 or 5 months. So I'm an absolute beginner, right? Um, I know that I need help. I know that my form's probably not perfect. And rather than being teachable, I was just trying to brush them off and come up with the excuse that I'm just tired, right? So that was definitely a moment for myself where I was not being teachable. I needed to take the criticism, but I didn't. Okay, so here's another example now of me being teachable. So I started golfing a couple years back. I'm not the best, like I have broken 100 a couple times, but I really go out there. I have fun with it. I want to get better though, right? Like I feel like golf it would be so much more fun if you can actually play a proper round of golf and have few mistakes, right? So I asked a friend who is a very good golfer if he could give me a lesson. He used to give lessons to people, and I met him at the indoor golf facility that we have here in town, and for an hour he gave me about 7 different tips on how, like, what I'm doing wrong, what I need to improve on. Was it a little much? Probably, but I was just asking for tips, right? So I'm going to go to the driving range. I'm going to practice those tips. But like I said, he gave me about 7 different things. And I'll be honest, it made me feel uncomfortable. My golf swing doesn't feel how it feels, right? Comfortable. Obviously, it wasn't the best golf swing. And that's exactly what he said. He said, this isn't going to feel right, but these are the things I want you to focus on. You can focus on all of them at once or just do one thing at a time. And that's what I did. And is my golf swing better? No. But I'm going to be going to the driving range. I'm going to be practicing that golf swing until I get it down. And I can feel it. Like I can feel when I do hit that golf swing in that proper form, it feels better than any golf swing I've hit. But I'm either hitting the hosel or I'm hitting the tip of the golf club and I'm just not quite there, right? But that was me being teachable and vulnerable, and you start sweating a little bit because you go from striking the ball great 90% of the time to maybe 50% of the time, and it just feels like you're regressing, but at the end of the day it's going to help you in the long run. I remember being younger and you couldn't tell me anything. Like I would just kind of put my wall up. Nope, I don't want to learn that right now. And you'd start kind of sweating profusely a little bit because you just felt like somebody was berating on you. But looking back on that, they're really just trying to help you, and they're really just trying to help you learn a skill or learn how to do something more efficient, or if it's at a place of work and you're not doing it right, like, you have to be teachable, right? Otherwise you're going to keep screwing it up, and then that's going to come back on you, rather than if you just took that advice and learned how to do it right the first time, right? So I want to hear your guys' thoughts. If you have any questions or anything to add to this, then please let me know. Thank you.